fantastic. Coach will open up a quick opening statement, and then we'll open it up for questions.
How you guys doing?
Doing well, Coach.
Good. Long time no see. Everything's going good. The kids, from the day I got in, have worked really, really hard. They've really bought into the culture of, family, unselfish action, playing together, those types of things, and very proud of the work that they've put in. And it's right around the corner. We're really excited to get on that court and start playing. And but the kids have really worked hard. We're happy where we're at right now.
Do you have a feel for how good you're going to be, how competitive you're going to be? That's kind of what people want to know.
I think the biggest thing is we've really focused on how we're going to do day to day, the process of getting better. And that's, the standard of excellence every day. And so, everybody here is learning a new system. A lot of the players, they end up being freshmen again because they're learning, from our zone to our press to how we're going to play offensively, defensively. I think they've made the transition pretty smooth, but we have, like any team at this time of the year, you're kind of going up and down. But very happy where we're at right now.
How about the operations? Has to be a little different, how you run practice and that process.
Yeah, a lot of coaches, when they get jobs, they bring staffs that they've worked together for years, so it's a little bit, not to say smooth, because it's been pretty darn smooth because we've got a great staff, but again, getting everybody on the same page, doing the right thing, from player development to administrative to recruiting, it's all new, but the guys are, I know everybody says it, but I really believe I got one of the best staffs in America. Guys who have a lot of experience. They've got great knowledge. Two of them have had head coaching experience. Will Conroy is a young superstar who really gets it, the combination of being on the court and connection with kids. And, I think the fun thing has been from day one when we did all the individual instruction, it was everybody together doing it. And that's kind of been our motto. Unselfish action and doing it together and tougher together. So right now, like I said before, I'm really happy about that. But we're growing. It's a process.
Mike, across the board, what's been the guys' experience level with zone defense in general, and how difficult has it been to teach that to guys that maybe aren't used to it? Well,
I've been doing it for a long time, so it's been in the DNA. If you cut me, the zone would come out in my blood on the way. But again, people think the defense is, like Little League Baseball. Hey, batter, hey, batter, swing, shoot it. I got to put my shooters in. But for the most part, for us, there's a lot of intricacies of it, and there's a lot of thought process, and it's good in a lot of ways because it's against the grain of, ball gets in the high post, a lot of teams collapse, we go out, so there's a lot of different training. They've had 18, 19 years of habits that are going back. So, like I said, if it's, we're 10% successful in terms of possessions. Tomorrow we want to be 20% successful. But the kids are getting it, and they're working hard at it. It's not easy. It's not easy to get, but I think as we move forward, we'll just keep getting better and better at it.
Do you think you have the players to fit your sort of system, or do you have to tweak it a little bit?
Yeah, I think, I was really excited. I go back to, you look at the length and athleticism, very similar. You look at a guy like Matisse Thybulle and Dominic Green, their length, their 7-foot wingspans. If you guys are familiar, when we won it in 2003, we had a big center named Craig Forth, and Sam Timmons is a big guy. He's got great intelligence. He plays. David Crisp is a high-level point guard. The young guys are always, learning on the go. But the thing that I'm really proud of and excited about is they, even when they struggle with it, they want to learn more and they want to get it. And yesterday, for an example, we went probably for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we weren't, we were pushing them. They weren't getting it. They were tired. They were exhausted. And the last 20, 25 minutes was the best defensive stuff that we've done all year, where they were, the teaching part of it. And, there's different situations, but like anything, you got to start by what? You got to start by crawling, and then you got to walk, and then you got to run, and then you got to sprint. And so, again, I think if you looked at our practices right now, I'm happy with the energy, the effort, but it's like the Dow Jones. It's, you have your ups and downs.
Mike, going back to your zone, can you talk a little bit more about it? It sounded like you said it's more of an attacking zone as opposed to where the offense comes in.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about tempo. A lot of we say unrelentless attack. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to control the tempo. So we've infused not only the zone being an aggressive, trapping type defense, but also we've messed around with full court and three-quarter court traps to try to control the tempo, where we just become unpredictable and we're controlling the tempo. That's always been my philosophy and something that we're going to bring here.
Obviously, rebounding is critical to that.
Yeah, I mean, anything. You can play great defense for 25, 24, 25 seconds, shot goes up. It's not good unless you can retain that rebound. And again, a lot of times in a zone defense, that's more in the half court, is you're not really boxing out your rebounding areas. And so, you get a lot of habits where guys go and they try to hit guys and they put themselves out of a position, which has openings. But again, those are the learning the learning parts that you kind of got to practice over and over and over, and watch film. You got to have uncommon preparation, and that's what these kids have been doing.
Mike, when you were really able to kind of audit things when you got here, what were the immediate needs that you feel like you had to address?
Basketball-wise, I wanted, defensively, at the end of the day, you look at the Pac-12, I always look at the Pac-12 numbers, and teams were shooting 49% from the field and 41% from the three-point line. Those have to improve. Is that schematic? Is that effort? Whatever that may be, that's the one thing that you can control. The player development's been a big part of what we brought here with what we're doing, and foul shooting. I mean, they come back to basic fundamentals. Some of your best players can't shoot 55% from the foul line or 56. They've got to be at higher percentages. And so, I look at free throw numbers. I look at, for instance, Matisse Thybulle is as talented as a player, I think, as there is in the country. And last year he averaged, I think it was 10.6 points per game. And in the Pac-12, he was one of the best three-point shooters in the league. Not only that, he was one of our best foul shooters. He shot 84%. The problem is that he went to the foul line less than one time per game. And so part of it was they became, it's almost like diagramming. Now, Matisse, if we can get you, because you're so athletic, to get in the middle of the paint, get some foul trouble. It puts, pressure on the defense, puts them into, you're in an attacking mentality. You're getting to the foul line. You're your best foul shooter. Sometimes the best shooters, if they haven't made a shot, the best part of their game is to do what do you tell them? Get to the foul line, go see it, go in, and then it changes the mindset. So that's one area that's more of an individual basis. But right there, if you end up going 6 or 7 times a game, just what he did last year, he could be at 15 or 16 points per game. You try to figure out how can we score 70 to 75 points per game, and who's going to do it. And that's been one of the processes that we've gone through strategically. Defensively, that's going to be our system, how we play. But I think for the most part, the biggest concern always is with the new coach is the buy-in there. And from the beginning, I think our staff did a great job of really connecting with the kids, working with them, developing them, and getting them to stay. And that was our first priority, and we were able to do that. But very happy with the guys.
And also recruiting with personnel that you needed to address. What positions did you want to go?
Well, listen, I'm big in everything that we do is fit and culture. You got to buy into your unselfish action. Like, you got to be part of wanting to be part of something bigger than yourself. And, the University of Washington has so many great attributes for academically, athletically, this and that. You want guys that want to be in here and want to win. They want to be part of something great. And then on top of that, you want guys to fit what you do. We've always had systematically long athletic players that have great IQ. Guys that understand, when you have really high intelligence levels, you're allowed, in timeouts, you can adjust on the fly. Learnability is quicker, those types of things. Recruiting is, we've had some success. We're excited about that, and we're excited. One of our taglines is we're always moving forward. If we lose 3 in a row, 4, we're always moving. We're always getting better. It's got to be the process. Get better every day, always moving forward. And that's in every area of our program.
When you were named, Noah Dickerson was a guy who was looking around a little bit, weighing his options. Can you tell us a little bit about your conversations to get him to stay in your recruitment back with Noah? And also, I saw him last week. What did you do to him? He doesn't look the same.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, at the end of the day, this is who we are. This is how we're going to do it. And our culture is exclusive. It's not inclusive. This is what we can do for you, and this is where we envision you. And he bought in. And you look at his body, he's lost a lot of weight. He's a very confident player. You can see it just with what he's done with his body. It's affected every area of his life in a positive way. And, here's a guy that, how many teams, how many programs in the country have a guy that can score like that in the low post? And now it's more so the consistency of the domination. Like he had that ability. He went through a run last year where he was averaging 22 and 12 during a period, or 22 and 11. Can we get that consistently? And, but we've showed him the way. He's bought in, but he's done the work. He's done the work, and that's why we're really, really proud of him.
Players like him and some of the others, returning players, how much time did you spend, and are you still spending time looking at the good and the bad from last year, looking at individual players, how they played?
Listen, at the end of the day, I told the guys, I said, this season's like an Etch-a-Sketch. Everything's earned. Whatever happened last year is last year. We're looking forward. We're always moving forward. And so, one of our things, I'm going to keep going back to our culture, but doesn't matter, get better. Doesn't matter, get better. And so, I stay away from the past. I focus on the future, and I try to inspire them to make them believe of what they can be. But you can't do it all alone. You have to do it together. I've never been around a great team that had a bunch of individuals. That was the great thing about Carmelo Anthony. Everybody said he never won. Well, he won a national championship in high school. He won a national championship in college. Like, he's a winner. And the one thing that people didn't know is he was all about team. And, those experiences of teaching these guys that it's team. We're stronger together. We're tougher together.
Still that toughness, that mental toughness it takes to win a close game at the end.
At the end of the day, you got to make practices harder than they are going to be in games. You've got to study situations. You got to keep practicing, moving forward. And it's one of those things, you can sit there and talk about offenses, defenses, strategy. At the end of the day, that relentless effort where you're just going at it every day, and you got to fight for your culture. You can't say one thing and then not hold them accountable to that. And so one thing that I've kind of, made very clear to our staff and our players, this is how we're going to play, or you will not play. This is how you're going to be. And, I think for the most part, I've been very proud of the guys in terms of being able to respond to that and, always move forward.
Tell me a little bit about your staff's responsibility. Who's responsible for what?
Well, if anybody's been at practice, we broke it into, 3 groups. Coach Conroy has the guards, Coach Rice has the forwards, and Coach Dollar has the bigs. And we do it in units. They take a large role in our practice. Part of the implementation of our culture is our staff. I look at it like it's a long rake, and we're just going along the sand, and everybody plays a part in it. It's not just me. It's our staff, it's our administrative staff, it's our, our administrative assistants, it's our director of basketball operations. Is, how you do anything is how you do everything, and that's what we're focused on.
Zone that almost anybody, and you not only have to teach your players, but tell me about how you get your coaches to get to the level or close to the level you are at and understanding it.
Well, it was interesting. Coach Dollar, when he was at Seattle U, used to call me, and we'd have conversations about the zone, and he had played it a little bit at Seattle U. And, it's part of the thing. The great thing about coaching is, so many coaches learn from each other. I was lucky enough to work for Jim Boeheim, who, we had played. People have this misconception like, oh, we were just zone. I mean, we played a lot of man-to-man in our years there. We pressed a lot. The year we went to this Final Four, most recently, we played Virginia. We were down 16. We pressed them the last 9 minutes, won. We beat Gonzaga down 7 with 2.5 to go. We pressed a lot. We played a lot of pressure defense in the past. But the greatest thing about coaching is I've obviously had that DNA of knowing it and a different type of defense. And, Coach Rice, when you're a basketball guy and you've had that much experience, you adapt to it, you learn on the fly, but very quick. They've adapted really, really well. Coach Dollar, same thing. Coach Conroy, he was working with the guards yesterday, and it reminded me of me, 10 years ago teaching it when I first coached the guards. So they've adapted really well. They're studiers. We go in there and we watch. We've got clips in the past of what I've always felt like our best teams were defensively. Watched them, study them. We practice it every day. And, just like they learn from me on that end, I learn a lot from them on their end.
David's never been a full-time point guard here. Granted, he's had a couple NBA guys in front of him. How much confidence do you have in him in taking on that role?
Well, I think the biggest thing is I really believe in you are who you are. And David's been able to we averaged 12.6 in one of the best conferences in the United States of America. He's got a jump shot that's as good as anybody. What is a point guard? At Syracuse, we played Michael Benajay, who was a 3-man. He turned him into a point guard, and he made the NBA. David's responsibility for us is to lead us, which I think he's done a really good job. I think he's the guy who can be an extension of the coaching staff. He's a guy that, with his ability to score, it opens up a lot of different opportunities to play basketball, which is simple, like point guard or not. If I penetrate and I'm good enough to go by you, a guy helps, I make the kick. It's a simple play. I think the biggest thing is the question earlier is time and score. Understanding what we want on a day-to-day basis. And David, that's a process too, but I think he's done an incredible job. Another guy who's played great at the point is Michael Carter. He's been a surprise not a surprise, but you freshmen are kind of like depending if you were a McDonald's All-America or your top 100, it didn't matter. 1 year at Syracuse, Lawrence Moten was the 5th highest recruit, and he became the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Big East. So you never know, but I've been very impressed with his ability to set guys up for shots. He's got great size in the zone. But his game management, I think, has been very good. So, we've got good guards, but I think David's going to have a great year for us.
Can you also talk a little bit about the other newcomers besides Michael and what you expect from them? Well,
I think Jalen Noel, been around this game a long time. He is a guy that he just knows how to put the ball in the basket, and he can do it against anybody. Like all freshmen, it's the conditioning, it's playing hard it's all those things. But the talent level, he's as good as a scoring guard that I've been around, and he's had a great attitude. Nas Carter is athletic, drives to the basket. He's an energy. He's the Energizer Bunny. He's just constantly bouncing, but he just impacts the game. If it's offensive glass, if it's taking the ball to the basket, his upside is on a different planet because of his elite athleticism. He's a top 1%er, and kid lives in the gym. Hamir Wright, I think he's a guy as the season progresses. He's 6'9", he's got a 7'1" wingspan, but he's got a great IQ for the game, defensively, offensively, and when you have a guy who can play stretch 4 but also have that size, I think he makes us different. And I think as the season progresses, it's one of the ways where we can just become different, where it gives us another advantage. And then obviously Michael Carter, who has got great size. He really shoots the ball well, and has been a great surprise for us in the preseason.
When Jalen upheld his commitment, you called it one of the biggest moments in USC history. Why did you feel that?
I felt it because, whenever you go through adversity, and I say adversity, we haven't gone through adversity per se, but, you lose a whole class, and those are tough, times, and we were able to retain the team. And then when Jalen decided to, renew his commitment, I just think it was one of those moments where a local kid, great player, wants his family to see him play, and then he believes in the new staff. Just kind of sent a message, you know, so you're looking at recruiting wise that, you know what, I believe in what they're doing there. And I believe in staying home and being a representation of not only the community, but the University of Washington. And I made a pledge, I'm sticking to it. And then, you know, I always look at, I go back through my experiences, and, you know, when we went through a little bit of adversity at Syracuse one year, everybody had left. We had guys that were going to commit that left, and they left, and they left, and there was one guy who stayed there. And he was from Rochester, New York. His name was John Wallace. And a lot of people were trying to get him to go other places, and he had the opportunity to, and he stuck there. And he's become a hero. And, you know, he had some struggle years, took us to a Final Four and national championship game attempt against Kentucky in '96. But, you know, the great thing about college basketball is it's not just the, you know, it's not about the NBA or what, it's about your university and what you represent. You know, it's having a chance to do something special in your backyard and feeling really proud of that and feeling connected to that. And, you know, just, you know, the belief in us in that moment, I felt that way. It was coming from my heart, and I really believe it.
How did he tell you?
It was interesting. He had called and said he was going to come, and you know, there was 2 moments that happened, 3 moments. It was Matisse Thybulle, and then him, and then Noah, and I screamed in the heck Ed. I was screaming, "Why, yes! Go Dogs! Let's go, baby!" You know, but you do. I mean, think about it. You know, when you get that, you know, like, listen, you get that, you know, listen, the local piece is huge here. And then you got a local kid, adversity, new thing, and he's saying what? I believe in you guys. I believe in this great university. I believe in representing it. That's what it's all about. You know, that's why I came here. And it was, you know, there's certain times in your life, and that was one of them for me. I call them brain tattoos. Something I'll always remember.
Move into the season, which is a few weeks away yet, and I'll say the non-conference portion and so on. New coaching staff, kind of a new group of players and so on. Some coaches early on will see them rotate virtually their entire roster in and out of games for a few games. What, planning-wise, strategically, what's your plan? What's your approach getting into the season, deciding who can really do what your rotation's going to be and so on?
Well, we're learning every day right now. You know, it's part of the preseason, but, you know, regardless of, you know, I'm playing to win. The guys that can help us win in our system are playing. Every game that we play, that's the entire goal. One day at a time. We go, we play that game, win or lose. We come back, we learn from it, we get better. That's the most important thing. It's the buy-in, it's the fit. But, you know, to go back to who I'm going to play, I'm not going to talk about that now, per se. You guys will figure it out in our first games. But I think we've got a great core group of guys that have bought into what we believe in our system. There will be growing pains, but the message that I want to get out to everybody is, you know, grow with us. You know, you got to grow with us. You know, this is a plan, you know, a system. It's a newness. There's going to be ups and downs, but I really believe that we'll be a team that will be together. We'll be out there fighting for our lives every day in. We'll be organized, and we will compete. And the biggest thing, like I told you guys earlier, the biggest thing that I'm fighting right now is foundational culture. This is who we're going to be. This is what we're going to be about. This is how we're going to play.
Couple more for Coach.
Biggest concerns going into season?
Biggest concerns. I don't have any concerns. Listen, I'm one of those guys, do your best, forget the rest. You know what I mean? And my management style is inspire people, manage process. And I really believe in the process. And the biggest thing that I don't want, you know, And it's one of our outcomes for our team is, and I said it earlier, always move forward. That's the way you grow. When you have a growth mindset, you're thinking, how can I get better every day? I'm not focusing on the past, we're focusing on the future. What are our concerns? Right now, at the beginning of the year when I took over the job, was going to be free throw shooting. That was a big concern, something that we practice every day, but that's something you can't really control. You can always try to get better at. Can we score enough points in the half court? That's going to be something that we're going to have to figure out based on who we play. If that's the case, then you'll see more pressure because we might have to create more points off our defense. And sometimes your best offense is great defense. And so let's get it going. I'm excited. I'm really excited. And but you guys are a big part of this thing too. And being a part of this and growing with us. The greatest thing about coaching and developing is trying to get these guys doing what? You see their development, you see what they were as freshmen, and you see what they are as sophomores, and see what they are as juniors, and seeing them buy in and seeing them getting better incrementally. But
have you gotten a chance to
Last
talk to the dog pack or reach out to the students and
no, but if you see me like painted purple one day with a big mohawk somewhere like that, you're like, oh my God, that Hopkins guy, he's kind of crazy. But one of the things that makes this job special, and I've had the opportunity to go to the football games and see the dog pack. It's the fan base, it's the alumni, it's the boosters, it's the experience when you go to a game. That's what makes great experiences, great home court advantages. And, from the study that I've done, it's one of the greatest fan bases or student bases. And I'm as excited if we can create what football has done to get that fan base in that gym. It could be one of the greatest places to play in college basketball. And that's our goal.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.